Now, throughout October, this key level, so on ES between 67.62 and 67.58, this one key level was responsible for so much of the action and so much of the best probability trades, right? Let me explain what I mean by that. So if we just continue to look to the left, we see the market holding as demand, right? Holding as demand. And then we, of course, had the Trump tariff tweets that gave us a strong move to the downside. Now, this is what we call a simple shift from demand. So I'll just write D to supply. This is what we call a flip zone from demand to supply. Now, once we have this in place, what you need to understand is that we simply want to be extending these zones all the way to the right. And I will show you the power of this. So we had another extreme sell-off over here. So this was Wednesday, the 15th of October. So this was the week after we had the tariff trumps, right? So what was important to understand, right? If I just clear up the charts, the tariff tweets, right? We don't want to be timing news events. We want to be using news events in line with our key levels. Now, key levels are very important. I'm going to be breaking down how you find a key level. So what we can see here is we can see price held as demand and price shifted to supply. So what we can see, just like clockwork, right? It's very important to understand our next sell-off came from this same exact zone. So this is where we use ICT with order flow. So if you're used to trading ICT or smart money concepts, I want you to keep that knowledge and apply order flow to the basic concepts, right? So what we see here is we see a 15-minute fair value gap, right? This zone right from the start was derived from a 15-minute fair value gap. And so a 15-minute fair value gap is what we see over here. So I always use a 15-minute chart, right? I'm very interested in using the 15-minute chart. And I want to see the interaction between buyers and sellers at this zone, right? So I'm going to be breaking down exactly what that means. But just for now, what I want you to understand is the cyclical nature of the market and how important it is to have your key levels well defined. So this was an area of supply from the 10th, right? And we can see the market holding on the 15th, right? So we see this area of supply. So I'm going to prove to you why this is an area of supply, right? So let's see what's going on. Again, we don't have data on that, right? So you're going to have to take my word for it at this point. This was an area of supply, right? We can see that just by the way the market was moving, right? So once you have your key levels defined, you want to only trade at those key levels. Now, what's also important to understand, it's not a coincidence that the market sold off here when we were significantly above the 50% area, which is all the way down here.